What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another video. It's Thursday. Do you know what that means? It's time for another Tubi movie. The movie we're going to be talking about today is A Mirror of Deception. Written, directed, and produced by Tamashin Jones and stars Michaela Leilani as this successful real estate agent here in Detroit. And not to get too much into the details because I don't want to give any spoilers, but she starts to forget certain things and begins to think that something is happening in her life that she just can't explain. Coming in at a runtime of just under an hour and 30 minutes, this movie is about average of what you will see on Tubi. Now, we're going to get into it. Before I do, just know that my opinion are my opinions, okay? I judge Tubi movies a little bit different than I do the big blockbuster films. A lot of Tubi movies suffer from the same roadblocks. And one of those roadblocks is funding. A lot of Tubi movies don't have the big blockbuster film budgets. And sometimes there are certain parts of the films that are kind of hurt because of it. You know what I mean? Like you'll watch a Tubi movie and you know that the concept is good, but you'll be like, man, if they just had a little bit more budget, this movie would be great. I take that into consideration when I talk about these movies. At no way am I hating on anything. And no way am I trying to bash. These reviews are intended to uplift the community because I think the indie film world is underrepresented in a lot of ways. Sometimes what makes or break an indie film is marketing. And if I could use my platform to help an indie film get more eyes and exposure, so that way it can lead you to a more budget and more funding, then you know what? So be it. That being said, if you have a Tubi movie that you directed or you've written or you started and you want me to do a review, let me know in the comments. So, that being said, let's get into it. Let's start off with the good. I was pleasantly surprised when I first started watching this movie because it's not every day where you see a Tubi movie that has its own theme song, okay? And honestly, like that, first of all, it threw me off in a good way. And it made me say, like, man, you guys are starting off strong, man. You better come correct. You have your own theme song. I started seeing a lot of the locations and a lot of the big budget items that you normally wouldn't see in a typical Tubi movie. I mean, this movie has a scene where they're on a yacht. You don't see that every day, but it fits the narrative of the character. Michaela Leilani plays a successful real estate agent, so she has to have that swag. She has to have that je ne sais quoi. I try to say that, but there was no way I was gonna pull that off. Listen, she gotta have the sauce. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it's about. So having that yacht just made sense. A lot of people put things that don't make sense in their movies, but this one did a really good job of that. I mean, you see them theme song is moving and they're on a yacht and they're all having fun and toasting champagne. They really showed Detroit in a really, really good light. A lot of times when you see Detroit, it's on the negative side, and this shows like there's some swag, there's some class, there's some riches that it comes out of Detroit within the black community. And honestly, I could vibe with that. I really did appreciate that side of it. A lot of Tubi movies kind of send to the other side of Detroit, the hood side of Detroit. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's also good to like show the other side. You know what I'm saying? Because not every black story has to deal with the hood. There are other types of black stories out there, and frankly, I feel like this one nailed it on the head. Having good locations really, really sold this movie. I mean, not to give any spoilers, but there's a part where the main character's on a podcast. They're going to the gym, a local clothing shop, these big mansions that she's showing off. Like there's so many things that I think they thought about, and I have to commend the director on this because locations can make or break your film. And having good locations can really, really set the tone. And I think that I won't say I know that that costs a lot of the budget, and I know that they called in a lot of favors. So well done on that. When it comes to making indie films, you have to use your social capital because if not, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle for sure. I thought Michaela Leilani's performance was solid. At first, I was kind of iffy about it. I kind of felt like, man, like I don't know how she's playing this character if it's fitting for me. Like I don't know if I like it. If it's like selling the real estate agent. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't feel strong enough. And then as the movie progressed, I started looking at it. I'm like, okay, now I can understand why she made the earlier choices in the film to be the way she was, to act the way she was. And I was like, okay, I totally get it right now. If you watch the movie, you can understand what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil the movie, so go watch the movie and come back and we can talk about it in the comments, because I think this deserves a watch and I think this deserves a conversation. I think the character development was there, and I think that we can kind of understand where she's coming from and see her from a perspective that doesn't seem too far-fetched, if that makes sense. Sebastian Jones really understood what he wanted to do and accomplish when making this movie. I think that he did overall a good job in accomplishing that goal. That being said, no movie is perfect, so let's talk about the bad. This movie classifies itself as a psychological thriller, and I felt like the psychological aspect was a little bit tame. It just didn't hit as hard as I wanted it to be. When I look at psychological thriller, I want the character to go through shit. I want the character to like almost lose their mind, to where you're like, bro, they need help. They need to see somebody. And the crazy thing is, in the movie, the character does see somebody. So it's a little bit kind of one of those things where I was just like, man, I just want them to go all out. You know what I mean? There were parts where I was just like, okay, this seems like it's just unrealistic. Like, this part doesn't make any sense. Like, this is a little bit fantasy and it's a little far-fetched. And I'm just like, bro, like, okay, I understand you're trying to create this drama and I understand what you're trying to do. I just was like, man, there's no resistance with this. If you know, you know. The twist of the movie, also, I felt like it came too early. To me, when I watched the trailer, I felt like it's one woman going through multiple personality disorder or some sort of like something that's triggering psychologically, right? But the twist kind of puts that on its head, and I felt like if they just took a little bit longer with revealing that, it would have been a lot better. It would have gave the main character to have even more of a psychotic break, even more drama on top of it. It would let them live within that drama that they're creating for everybody. It would have let that main character live in it. When you reveal it too early, now it becomes a little bit of a different movie. And I understand that part. I understand the type of movie it's trying to be. I just think that, you know, just a little bit longer. That's all. That's just my personal opinion. You guys may have a different one. If you do, leave it in the comments and we can talk about it. That being said, the ending, in my opinion, it just felt a little rushed, and it just felt like, man, we could have fleshed it out just a little bit. There's even like a post-credit scene a little bit, and I actually thought that was a nice touch. To me, it just felt a little rushed. That's all. It wasn't a bad ending, and we saw it coming, and it's something that was like, okay, cool. But there was like one line in the ending that was like, really? Out of this whole time, that's what we bringing into this now? We went this whole movie without even being a thing, and all of a sudden, in one line, you bringing that? I'm not gonna lie, I laughed at that line, and I was like, oh boy. Keisha's boyfriend, I think he played a good hateable character, but there was parts of his performance where I was just like, come on, bro. You're doing too much. I'm not hating, I'm just saying, like, less is more. A lot of times, less is more, man, for real. He did a good job being a hateable character. It was just things that I was just like, oh, this guy's face, bro. And maybe that's part of it, right? Like, maybe that's part of him being a hateable character, that I was just like, bro, this guy's face annoys me. That being said, overall, I'm going to give Mirror of Deception a B+. For originality, the use of the city, giving us something different than the typical like gangster hood movie that you see on Tubi that comes out of Detroit. A little refinement of the script and acting would really get this movie to where it needs to be. I think this is a very successful movie. Really did enjoy it. I just wanted more, and I think that's a sign of a good movie, right? I want more. Like I want to see where this story goes. I want to go more into it. You know what I mean? Give me a sequel. I just think the sequel needs to be a little bit more tight. Give me that drama. Give me that insanity. You know what I'm saying? That being said, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because next week we're coming at you with another Tubi movie. I'm Uncle Manny. Remember, life is too short to watch bad movies. So let me help you with that. Peace out, family. Hey, thanks for watching to the end of the video. You must have liked it, so hit that subscribe button. And if you want to watch the next video, it's right here, man. Go ahead. What you waiting for?